Hello guys, welcome to day 21 of the Excel online training. Thank you for following us thus far on this journey. So for the next 10 days we'll be discussing about macros, macro designs. We'll be discussing about Visual Basic for applications. We'll be discussing about writing codes, automating tasks in Excel, sending mails from Excel, interacting with other applications, and how you can actually write functions and other things like that. So it's going to be a really interesting journey, and we are really glad to have you with us as we take this journey. So I'll just start the introduction on macros. Now, if you notice our tabs, you will notice all the tabs we have here. There is actually no tab that talks about macro, or there are no tabs where you can actually record macros and code. That's because the developer tab in Excel, which gives you the features to record macros, to write your Visual Basic application codes, is disabled by default in Excel. But you can enable it by coming to the File tab. So you come to the File tab, click on the File tab, just come to Options. Now under the options you see a dialog box that brings up your Excel options. Then you click on basically on Customize Ribbon. So when you click on Customize Ribbon, you see here, so this shows you all the functionalities you have enabled in your Excel sheet or in your Excel workbook. Now you enable the developer tab. So this is one of the main tabs in Excel by default, but it's usually disabled. So you just enable it and you click OK. Once you do that, you see the developer tab automatically shows up on your tab list. And when you click on it, you see different sections: the code section, adding section, control section, XML, and document panel. That's the modify section. But for now, we'll be focusing on the macro section for recording macros and also writing our own macros if necessary. So that will be working with the code section for now. Later we'll move to the control and the adding function. So now, but for you to actually understand the concept of macros are like automated tasks that you've actually shown Excel what to do. So you've basically automated tasks that you want Excel to do on your behalf when you run the macro. You can either generate macros by recording them or by writing your own macro yourself. Now, the easiest way to do it is actually just by recording macro, and I'll show you how to do that now. Let's assume we have a new sheet. I'll create a sheet. Okay, so if I create a sheet and then I say number 1 and then number 2. Okay, so if I come here and let's just put random numbers. We can always use our rand between function. So let's say between 10 and 50. Let's do the same thing here. Let's just assume, okay, let me paste values so it doesn't keep changing. So let's just assume we want to generate a result. Okay, and that result should basically be an addition of these numbers. Okay, so if I want to generate, normally I would have just said is equals to sum. Okay, and do this and then probably just drag it down. Now if I have another sheet that requires this kind of thing again, I would need to do it manually. But with macros, I can record the macro to say, okay, everywhere you see numbers, just help me do this sum. Okay, and drag down the sum. So I can record the macro. So next time I come to a sheet that requires addition, instead of me typing out the formula, I just run the macro, and macro is going to do the tasks for me. Now these are basically just illustrating macros using simple tasks, but you can do very, very complex tasks with macros. Maybe when we're doing our project, I would actually just show you some of the complex tasks you can do with macro, but for the sake of explanation here, we're just using simple tasks. So let me show you how to do one. All I have to do is I'll just come to macros here. Okay, and then I type the macro name I want. Let's say I want an addition macro. Okay, then I create the macro. Okay, macro name is not valid because there's space. Okay, so this is it. I've not created it. Okay, let's cancel that. And so I just come here and say record macro. Okay, then that's me the name of the macro I want to record. Let's just call it addition in this case. And then here I would say control L, and I will tell you what this is for. Now, because control L already starts for something that is aligned left, so it's control shift L, okay, for the shortcut. And I will tell you why this is also it's not important, but it can make your work very easy. So I'll click OK. Then I'm recording the macro. I just click here and I say is equals to sum. Yeah. Okay, and then I come here and I drag down. Right, now let me stop recording this macro. I've recorded the macro and I've stopped recording it, so this is fine now. Now imagine I now have another sheet that contains say column A, column B. Let's generate random numbers again. Say between 111 to 400. Okay, do the same thing here. So now let's generate a result. Now to generate the result here, all I just have to do now is I just come here to macro. Now my addition macro is already here, so I tell it to run. Now if you notice, Excel automatically calculates this for me, right? So instead of me, calculating it one by one and then dragging that again. Now imagine this is a very complex thing. Let me show you. Let's just generate a result. Let's generate something a little bit more complex so you actually will appreciate what macro can do for you. So here, let's say we want to generate sum here. Want to generate division, multiplication, right, and subtraction. Okay, so I'll just record a new macro, and let's call it macro 2, and then let's call this M, Control Shift M. Remember the first one was Control Shift L. So I'll say this. Now I'm recording the macro. I come here and I say is equals to sum this. Then I drag down. Here I say is equals to column A divided by column B. I drag down. Here is equals to column A multiplied by column B. I drag down, and there is equals to column A minus column B. And then I drag down also. So let me stop recording here, right? So I've stopped recording. Now if I come here now to the new sheet we created, where's that? That's okay, that's sheet 7. And let's do this again. So here we want to generate the sum, we want to generate the division, we want to generate the multiplication, and we want to generate the subtraction, right? That's the same order, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so if I come here and I just run this macro, so I have macro 2 and I just run. Now instead of running, just coming here to run macro 2, remember I assigned a shortcut to it before, so I can use that shortcut by just pressing Shift, Control and L on my keyboard, which is the shortcut. So I'll just say Shift, Control and M. Now notice in an instant Excel generates all these things for me because I've recorded the macro before. Now I can run it. So imagine you have a very large data set and you need to do some very complex mathematical or logical evaluations and you have to do them multiple times, all you have to do is the first time you're doing it, you record it. Now after you've recorded it the first time, other times when you need it, you will just be running the macro. So you keep running the same macro over and over and again. That means you don't need to disturb yourself. The first time is when you record. The next time, Excel generates it for you as you would have done it yourself. So what macros will help you do is it helps you to automate these repetitive tasks. These tasks that you have to do several times. Just do it once, record it with macro, and then Excel basically just handles it from there for you. So I want to implore you to take out your time to really test some of these features. Record a macro, run it over and over again, look at what are the downsides of the macro, then readjust it to run it again as you would like it to. So I hope you actually take your time to do that and to practice. If you have any question, please reach out to us on our YouTube channel or on our Twitter page. We'll be glad to assist. Thank you very much.